Hello again everyone and welcome back to Get Into Source. My name is Deepak Singh and today I am going to talking about debugging the code for logical and syntax errors. Syntax errors can be diagnosed by thorough testing of the code, but logical errors are a bit harder to find. It will take a bit more work. Let's go ahead and come back to our Excel sheet. Here I have created a very basic calculator to add and subtract. There is two labels X and Y and two text boxes, two command buttons. Below is the cell where we will show our output. Let's try this. Now I am going to enter the values in text boxes and click on add button. And now this is our output. Now click on subtract button. And again this is output. Now come to VB editor to see the VB code. Here I have two sub-procedures for two command buttons. Okay, now look into the first sub. Here I have declared two variables x and y as integer. Here x will take the value from text box 1 and y will take the value from text box 2. Now I am going to make a syntax error here, which is I am typing text box 4. That doesn't exist in this workbook. But as you can see, I am not getting any error message, underline or highlighted line until I try to run the code. So I am going to run the code by clicking on command button add. And now we have an error message. And our VB editor highlighted the line which contained the syntax error. And this is very convenient way to remove this error because we don't have to search for the error. VB itself highlighted. Here we just need to correct the syntax and our code will run smoothly. Now let's see about the runtime errors. This type of error actually occurs by some special situation during the execution of code. So let's look into it. Here I will left the first text box blank and click on add button. And now we have a runtime error message. This error occurs because blank value of text box can be accepted as string but not as integer value. Now let's see how to handle these runtime errors. So here we have four ways to use on error statement. First, on error go to 0. Second, on error go to label. Third, on error resume next. And fourth one is on error go to -1. Let's look at each of these statements one by one. On error go to 0. This is the default behavior of VBA. When an error occurs, the VBA will stop the execution of code on that line and default error message will be shown. This will also disable other error handling statements. Let's see this by an example. So let's go back to our VB editor again and type on error go to 0. And now click on add. Again we have same error message as earlier. This is the way in which we can specify what we want to do in case our code has an error. Now let's see how this works. When an error occurs, the code jumps and executes the code in handler section. One more thing, we have to use exit sub before the error handler label. In case we don't use exit sub, it will always execute the label code. Now I am going to use on error go to label in our first sub. So I type on error go to handler as error handling label here. Now if I run this code and any runtime error occurs, then the execution of code will be jumped to the handler label. Now let's try this. Again our first text box is blank and click on add button. But this time we are getting the message box which we have typed in handler section. So now give a valid value in text box 1 and click This time our code is working perfectly, but still we have message box from error handler label. So to prevent the execution of code in error handling label, we need to use exit sub before our error handling label. Now again click on add button and we have only output which was expected. This will ignore the execution of the line that contain error and continue to next line. On error go to -1 is used to handle multiple on error statements. We will continue with the last two types of on error statement and see the working of them in next part of the video. Please like and comment and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.